Hi, this is Denis O'Donovan with ProfitComm, and we're here again with Forrest Knueppel from Coro. And the next segment of the areas that businesses probably want to protect from the bad guys is cloud. Forrest, can you tell us about how they're using cloud to get to the end user, and then how what you're doing to protect it?
Yeah, I think in our very first conversation, we probably talked about this one a little bit more at length because cloud security is one of those areas that so many small and mid-sized businesses just don't think about because, and it's not their fault. They've been kind of taught that, over the years, Microsoft and Google are protecting me, right? Well, no, they're not a security company.
Yeah,
They have some security features, but that is not their primary goal.
sure.
And so when you are a typical cloud application user, and I'm going to throw that into the buckets of Microsoft 365, which has OneDrive and Teams and other tools that are held out there in the cloud with information, Google Drive, Slack, Box, Dropbox, even Salesforce. I mean, these are all cloud applications that save a significant amount of information, data. I mean, think about how many pictures you've shared, files you've shared, files you save, uh, uh, resumes, HR documents. I mean, all of this stuff is most commonly saved in some sort of cloud drive today versus the old days when it was all on-prem in some,
So, no, yeah,
storage array, right?
sure.
Uh, yeah, it's more cost effective for a business to hold it inside of those cloud applications. Well, very few companies have something that is cloud security. They like I said, so many people take for granted that Microsoft and Google and so on are going to protect that data. And they have some, but that's not their plan without paying pretty significant, upcharges
Sure.
to different programs they have. So you need to protect this data. This is probably the number one area where companies get nailed. They get the email, they get the endpoint stuff, but this is where they get nailed. So take a look for a cloud security solution. And the things you're going to look for, and I'm going to share my screen for a moment, if that's all
Please
right.
do. Yeah.
So when I'm taking a look at cloud security, here's a brief example of things you're looking for. The very first thing is going to be abnormal activity. So what we would look at from a company standpoint, okay, do we have the Superman effect? And by Superman effect, hey, Dennis, I'm talking to you on the East Coast right now, but you just logged in from California. How did you do that?
Yeah.
That's an abnormal activity because of geolocation, but it can be much easier than that. Dennis, you typically download a couple files a day, for various things, and suddenly you just downloaded 100 files and sent it off on an email to somewhere. That's a problem. That is
Yeah.
something that you should flag on. And I will tell you, as a small business owner, I've got so many fun stories. I wish they were fun, but they're fun stories from our small business owners that have used something around cloud security or user data governance. They both kind of fall into this bucket. But when we do a typical security assessment, which is normal, we'll come in, we'll do a free assessment, load this up for you, run it for a week or so, and let you see what's actually flagging. This one hits a scary number of times. It
Really.
is it almost every single time that we put them something in and they set some parameters around what they would or would not expect to happen, this hits. And I know an example that I'll borrow from one of my team members. They're working with a large water park group. Well, that large water park group put in some information and they noticed some abnormal behavior almost out of the gates on a single user. That single user had over 1,000 attempts at logging in under their name. And so, of course, the conversation is, well, who is this? Right? Admin says, that's my CFO. Okay. Now, I'm looking at this and saying, my CFO is getting 1,000 hits trying to break their security to get into this thing. It is no longer a matter of if, but when they are
Yeah.
going to figure that out. So that, but it immediately flagged them to be able to say, okay, we got to put some additional security posture around this. We need to change some passwords. We need to do this, that, and the other thing. But they learned it. They learned it early so that they could actually stop the event before it happened. So, I think that's a big one. But the other areas that we're taking a look at, for instance, suspected identity compromise. So, okay, I'll give you an example of this, where we look into a ticket and say, all right, well, this user, like I was just talking about, was trying to dial in from California from Cuba. Okay. This is another area that people should start paying attention to. The way the bad guys got smarter is that geofencing by country has been around for a while. But what happens if I am saying anybody in the US is okay, and that bad guy bounces it off of a server somewhere in Utah?
Mm-hmm.
That's not
Yeah.
going to fly
Yeah.
unless you have an ability to be able to take that to the next degree. Coro does have that. It's one of our, I'll call it, one of our superpowers is the fact that we can do that geofencing all the way down to the state level. And we'll even take a look at domain IPs. So you could even lock your company down to be, I'm only taking this information, or you're only able to log in from this IP scheme. Very, very good if you're a school, by the way. Education, perfect, because you probably don't have
Yeah.
a lot of students that are going to be trying to log in from somewhere outside of your state.
Huh. I know that well. I just dropped my kid off to college, so uh
Yeah,
it's
same.
yeah, crazy.
But the other
Well, I
areas, sorry, Dennis, just the other piece I'd say is
yeah,
that
please.
that data download or mass data deletion and so on, this can be even somebody from inside your organization. Unfortunately, a lot of times you might see something as simple as a disgruntled employee that is trying to get all the information on their book of business.
Customer lists.
Yeah,
Yeah.
customer lists and so on. This would have that ability of flagging to say, hey, listen, this is a mass data deletion or upload or whatever, and you might want to take a look at this. That will help you keep track of nefarious. I keep using that word nefarious. I like that word today. The bad guys trying to do something from even within your organization.
Well, that's helpful. I appreciate you showing me this. So if you want to learn more about this and how to protect your cloud, please reach out to me at the contact information below. We'll get you a demo of Coro's platform. And thanks again, Forrest. I appreciate you being here for us.
Thank you.